Now, let's look from a more practical point of view, how the different elements you have to take into account when you have to decide what to evaluate. Now, the starting point when defining an evaluation plan is always the portfolio of interventions. So you have to look at the whole broad set of the portfolio. Once that is done, you then have to consider the operational and decision-making needs for evaluation, as well as any contractual requirements. Evaluations must respond to a need. If there is no need, or when you look at this portfolio, you have difficulties in identifying a need, the need is unclear, then maybe that means that the need is not really there, and that even if you carry out the evaluation results will not be used. So balance contractual requirements, compliance with need for evaluation. And this is a point I will keep hammering on until the end. The second point, resources are tight. So you can't evaluate everything. And when we talk about resources which are tight, we not only think about the budget which is available for evaluation, but we also have to think about human resources. So who will manage those evaluations? Managing an evaluation is not something which can be done with your left hand. It's something that takes time. Time in terms of inputs within a given period, but also time in terms of stretching over a pretty broad time frame. So think about it, prioritize, and prioritize again on the basis of usefulness. You might want to focus on the best possibilities for learning, or on your unit's priorities. If you know that there are plans to launch projects in a given sector, or to top up given projects, continue operating in a certain area, then maybe you can give priority to the projects which are ongoing in those areas to learn, to get inputs, and which can then feed and improve future design. Or you might want to give priority to innovative interventions to see to what extent these can then be replicated, to what extent these provide, good practices. You might want to focus on pilot projects more or less for the same reasons. Or you might want to focus on interventions which appear to be particularly successful or unsuccessful to find out what are the key drivers of that success or unsuccess. And then again, you might decide that you want to group projects or interventions within a sector, or you might give priority to large interventions, so where the majority of the money is going. Again, be realistic. What resources will be available? Do you have the time to launch the evaluations? When we talk about the time to launch an evaluation, we have to think backwards. If we need the evaluation findings at a given point in time, then we have to take that at a starting point and go backwards. If we need the final report by September, it means that most likely we are just on time now, being at the beginning of May, if not late already, to launch the evaluation. Why? Because to launch an evaluation, there's a whole process that has to go on. You have to draft your terms of reference, or actually, first you have to identify a reference group, draft the terms of reference, launch the tendering phase, give enough time to contractors to present an offer, and then we have the different phases of an evaluation: an inception phase, a test phase, a field phase, and then finally the synthesis phase. So all of this takes time. Of course, you can rush, but if you rush, then most likely the evaluation findings will not match your expectations. So then again, is it useful or not? Is the budget available? Check with contract and finance. And that's why you have to include them in the process. Who will be responsible to manage the evaluations? I said it before, it takes time. Is the person appointed to manage the evaluation available? Does he or she have the time to manage the evaluation or the evaluations? And if there's more than one evaluation to manage, maybe you have to schedule them so that they don't, so that the key moments of each evaluation do not overlap. And then finally, match the scope with the purpose with the information needs and budget. We will look at this later, but evaluations can focus on a number of different issues. And normally the solution is not to look at everything, but focus the evaluation on those that we identify as our primary information needs. What do we really want to find out? What is the information we're really looking for, the data we're really looking for when we carry out an evaluation, and prioritize that. The second important point is that you have to be coherent and coordinate. Now, there are different means and tools available to monitor and to evaluate. So the key here is that you have to coordinate with ROM missions and with evaluations done by implementing partners and donors. Why is this? Because we said it before, evaluation is not a standalone exercise. For example, we will see that while normal monitoring activities are compatible with whatever other tool, so you will have internal monitoring which is compatible with ROM, which is compatible with a midterm, which is compatible with a final evaluation, the same does not hold equally true when we balance a ROM review and a midterm evaluation. In this case, we will see that, of course, they are different, but there are a number of similarities among them. First of all, they will reach out to the same key stakeholders, the same target group. So you don't want to have the two which are coming too close together, because if people who are working on a project, the implementing partner, but also the target group, the local counterparts, who are working, and then they have a ROM mission coming in March asking a set of questions, and then they have a midterm evaluation team coming in April asking the same question, or at least part of the same questions, they will not be too happy about that. So think and remember that the ROM mission can be equated, if you want, to a dashboard. It will tell you the speed of implementation, where you are. It is faster, it is cheaper, and it can give you more immediate information on some issues. Evaluations, if we keep with the same kind of similitude, is your co-pilot. It will tell you where they are, but also whether you will be able to reach your results or not, and why. Midterm evaluations take longer, are more expensive, but have a broader scope and depth. So if there are important changes in the external context which might require a reshaping, a redesign, or maybe also a decision on whether or not it's worth to move ahead with that project as it's currently designed, then you might choose to go for a midterm evaluation. If instead you see that, well, there might be some management issues, you've seen some delays, you're not sure what is causing these, then you might go with a ROM mission, which will provide you answers more quickly, and it will also indeed provide you with some recommendations which you will be asked to act upon. And more information on this and other choices you can make in terms of coordination between the different tools is, of course, available in the DG guidelines.